Hello everyone and welcome back to the fourth week of fantasy football. We're the four horsemen. Unfortunately, with the three musketeers this evening. Carlos unfortunately had car trouble, so he will not be making it this evening. So we're going to miss him. I do want to start off this episode on a sadder note. The main guy who got me into fantasy football as a British student who came over here was a guy called Mike Tagliere. He worked for Fantasy Pros, and he was an absolute... He was a wizard at fantasy football. I listened to him over everyone, and he passed away at the age of 39 this weekend. It was very, very sad. So condolences to him, condolences to Tabby Tags. They do have a GoFundMe for the funeral and expenses and everything. So if you guys do want to go there and check that out, that would be great. Anyway, let's get right into this week. So this week, guys, I'm with Gil and Nick here. We're going to be talking a bunch of different segments, but we're going to start off with a quick Week 3 recap. So I'm going to go straight to Gil and kind of just get a little rundown from what happened this week, Gil.
I really wish I had therapy again this week. Honestly, Zeke frickin' Elliott had to kill me across 3 leagues.
Ugh, brutal.
Quick recap on that. I was up by 8 going into Monday night against the Eagles because Devontae Adams gave me a 30-piece, and I got the lead. I needed Miles Sanders to outperform Zeke by 8 points, and that did not happen because the Eagles just simply did not want to run the ball. Other than that, it was great. Other than that, it was fun football to watch.
It's just great to have football back.
Absolutely. My Chargers beat the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get a round of applause, people?
Yeah, we can.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Gil. All right, let's get over to Nick. Nick, give us a quick, rundown.
Nothing too exciting for me. 3-5 and out of my leagues here, but my friend actually had a really bad beat going into it. Was Monday night, and Dak Prescott just threw his touchdown to get him up by 0.1, and then they took him out of the game, and he thought, I got a good win. That's it. And then Dak Prescott comes back in front of his home fans and needs the ball twice.
Oh, my God.
To give him a 0.1 loss.
That is awful.
And he needed it, too. Now he's 1-2.
Yeah.
That's the worst way to go. For me, these guys know because I've been kicking off all week about what happened with one of my leagues. I lost CMC on the Thursday night. It was brutal, but I thought, you know what, I might be able to make it back. Deontay Johnson was out for me. I knew Darrell Henderson probably wouldn't play. And then A.J. Brown goes down midway through the game for me. God. So I'm just absolutely decimated.
Didn't Lockett get hurt also?
No, Lockett, he stepped out for a little bit, but he came back. I don't have him in that league. Anyway, that's 4 out of my top 5 picks from that league that were down this week. I had Tyson Williams in, who scored 2 points against Detroit. Somehow that game was close. None of my players played well. I had 71 points in that week, so that was absolutely brutal. So in that league, I'm 0-3, and I've just traded away Christian McCaffrey. I am just going full-blown, I need to win now.
Oh, my man's in panic mode.
Absolute panic mode. I got Aaron Jones and Cooks for CMC, so that was my 1 week. And then the other one was I was down 28 going into Monday night, and I needed 28 points from CeeDee Lamb and Devontae Smith. Neither produced. So I lost that one as well. But the main thing is I'm 3-0 in our league. So I cannot complain one bit. Okay, we're going to move over to our next segment, which is handcuffs. So what a handcuff is basically the backup, right? So this week, Dalvin Cook went down. Who was his backup? Alexander Mattison. In full PPR, he put up 23 points. That's what a handcuff is. So we're going to go through each of us. We're going to give you guys 2 handcuffs, 2 guys who we think you guys should own rest of the season. So let's go to Gil first here.
As crazy as this sounds, because the Lions are a wreck, Jamal Williams.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
I love Jamal Williams. First off, he's got to be the best person to interview in sports right now.
He's great.
On top of that, he's been producing. Week 1 against the Niners, he's got 25 points on the dot. He had a touchdown. That whole game was a shootout.
9 targets.
Week two was kind of a down game, especially just because the Packers really dominated in the second half. But week 3, he bounced back up and put nearly 15.
Yep.
I like the promise he brings, especially because if Swift is going to take a bulk of the pass-catching duties, you're going to get Jamal Williams probably closer at the end zone. So he'll actually get some good scores. And on top of that, he still gets good attention. The Lions' offense isn't as volatile as we thought with Derek Carr at the helm. Not Derek Carr, Jared Goff.
Yeah.
And it's kind of promising. There's not a lot of depth, so the people that do shine kind of look like they're going to stay shining for the entire season.
Yeah, it's funny because with Jamal Williams, he's like a high-end backup. He's a great pass-catching back. He's a guy who's producing even with Swift in the lineup. So imagine Swift did go down. That would be crazy.
You could start Swift and Jamal Williams in the same week, and you'd still get numbers from both guys.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That first week, you would have been
so crazy.
You would have been over the moon that first week. So let's go over to Nick. Nick, give us your first handcuff.
Actually, funny you said Madison before because he was the number one guy on my list.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a Dalvin Cook owner in one of my leagues, and I am very glad I had him this week. Going off for 23 points for me when Dalvin Cook went down. And honestly, I love Madison in this offense. They're a very run-dependent offense. Even though Kirk Cousins is there still throwing the ball, they really want to run, and Madison is a perfect spot for that offense.
I was actually really lucky in our league this week, guys. I owned Dalvin Cook in our league, and Madison was still available just before.
I think nobody was paying attention to that Dalvin Cook
honestly,
injury.
I saw that too.
I literally looked in the morning. I was like, "Oh my god, here we go!" I'm
nobody
picking him up.
expected. Like, it's not like Christian McCaffrey who got hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
And so on and so forth. Dalvin Cook's injury just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah. So I'm going to give probably the biggest, most high-end handcuff here, and that's Tony Pollard. So he's a handcuff to Zeke. Zeke is the RB1, but people would argue Pollard is arguably like he has at least looked better than Zeke this season. Did you know that Tony Pollard, on 41% of his rushes, he gets a first down? That's the highest rate in the NFL this season. He's been absolutely outstanding, and if something did happen to Zeke, he would be an RB1 going forward. You would plug him into your lineup, and you would just forget it.
Like, he's very explosive. I think
every
it'll
week.
work out well.
He looks fast. He's brilliant. So he's one of those guys that you want to own. Even like you could flex him most weeks, like you really could, and you'd be happy with the numbers he's putting up. So Tony Pollard is outstanding. Right, Gil, let's go over to you for your second handcuff.
Staying in the backfield, I like J.D. McKissick on the football team. Mm-hmm. It's pretty simple. It's giving a lot of Antonio Gibson owners a lot of trouble. He's getting a lot of pass catching opportunities out in Washington. And on top, like he's been pretty boomer bust just because the football team hasn't been winning games. So it's hard to give them a positive game script so they'll be able to run the ball. So like when Gibson had that big touchdown last week against the Bills, that was like saving his week. Other than that, like I would own J.D. McKissick because of the fact that he's going to do what Gibson hasn't been given the responsibility of doing, which is catching passes. Moving forward, I would still own him just because I want to make sure that having Gibson isn't as volatile. So McKissick just seems like the next best option.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. What's really weird to me is that Gibson, he hit that run early on, and they didn't pass the ball to him again. Like,
right.
He just took it 73 yards to the house. Why would you not pass him the ball again? That's what I just didn't understand. It's like, this guy shows he is so explosive, and then didn't pass the ball to him again. I could not understand that. Anyway, let's go over to Nick. Nick, who's your second handcuff?
My second handcuff is Nehemiah Hines from the Indianapolis Colts.
Naheem Hines.
Nehama.
I
I prefer that, to be honest. I prefer that, Nick. All right, we'll go with Nehama.
Let's just go with Hines here. Let's go with Hines.
If in doubt, just do the last name. You can pronounce that.
All right, let's go. Hines is actually a great handcuff to have just because of how underperforming Jonathan Taylor has been so far.
Yeah.
And also looking at the fact that Marlon Mack wants to be out of Indianapolis, just the fact that he was not played at all last week and he requested a trade. So I like Hines just because
Take three, you got this, buddy.
of the way it's going.
Yeah.
And Carson Wentz is not going to stay healthy either. So they're going to focus on that run once the backup quarterback comes in. And I like that offensive line, especially with Quentin Nelson there. So Hines is
Quentin Nelson went down this weekend. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, he did.
Did you
I forgot about
you
that.
didn't see-
I did forget about that.
I'm not saying that Hines isn't a good backup anyway,
Yeah.
but I'm saying he went down this weekend, didn't he?
Well, Hines kind of gets to the end zone more than
Yeah,
Taylor.
Yeah.
He's also got better pass catching chops. Like in a PPR format, Hines
And on
is
top
going to
of
produce.
that, the Colts are trying to trade Marlon Mack.
Yeah. So they're obviously
attention for Hines.
They're obviously happy with Naheem Hines as the backup. So, all right, I'm going to go in with, when we look for backups and we're looking for handcuffs, we're looking for guys who are in positions that are RB1s, guys that are going to produce week in, week out. Now, who do we have that? Who do we have when we look at that? Aaron Jones, right? Aaron Jones is going to go in and produce week in, week out. If something happened to Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon is an outstanding backup. He's
going to ball for you.
He has shown like that he is also a really explosive player. He's not had a chance to produce yet, but this is the kind of guy that if Aaron Jones was to go down in a game, this is the kind of guy that A.J. Dillon is the kind of guy that people would blow their entire fab budget on in a week. They would use everything. They would use their top waiver priority. They use everything to get this guy. If you're an Aaron Jones owner, I highly suggest having. I just traded for Aaron Jones. I'm going to go and pick up A.J. Dillon in one of my leagues because I need to have him there. Jones is questionable this week. I think he's going to play, but he's just a great guy to have at the back end of your bench. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Moving on quickly. I'm just going to do a little segment here. I'm going to name a couple of guys for Nick and Gil here, and what I want from you guys is to just give me yes or no as to whether you guys would pick this guy up if he is available on your waiver wire. So these are some names that are hovering around the 50 to 60% ownership, maybe a little bit less in some situations. So I just want a yes or no here. Emmanuel Sanders, if he's available, would you guys pick this guy up?
Yes.
Huge week this week.
I am.
I would consider it.
Oh, yeah.
He had a huge week this week. He'd been having a bunch of air yards, so I think he's someone, again, who
He was just
should
a
be
beneficiary of a blowout win.
Yes, but he's like the deep threat. He's like 35 years old.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
but
why.
he's been a deep threat. That's been his career.
And he has some
being
volume, too. He has 8 targets the first game and 6 targets the next 2, and with 2 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, exactly. And he won people weeks probably last week. Okay, let's stick with the same team. Cole Beasley. Which guy would you guys prefer to own? Let's stick to a PPR setting here. Because I think that changes the matter a little bit, right?
If I had to pick between the two, I'd probably go Beasley.
Yeah.
As much as I don't want to.
Yeah. It's that slot role that's so valuable, I think, in PPR settings. I think
Well, if you look at like a team like Tampa Bay, who thrives on somebody in the slot going absolutely bonkers, like Antonio Brown, week 1.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, what about Tim Patrick? I'm going a bit lower down the totem pole here. Wide receiver for the Denver Broncos. I know a lot of people are out on this guy just because he has such a weird name. He's such a basic name. Tim Patrick. Yeah. It's just Tim Patrick.
I'm going to go no.
Okay. All right.
The Broncos.
Bear this in mind. KJ Hamler went down this year. ACL. He's not going to play the rest of the season. Jerry Jeudy is not there. This guy, he has scored double-digit fantasy points every week so far. He didn't have a touchdown last week, but he has put up double digits. He's like that steady Eddie, you know.
He might be good to stash, but I don't know if I'm going to consider a week-in, week-out starter.
Okay.
If you're tough at wide receiver, then I recommend doing it. But he's also going against Baltimore, and they might be behind, especially.
The thing with the Broncos is they're 3-0 against really, really bad teams.
Yeah.
Hot take, I think the Broncos are going to beat the Ravens this week. I know the Broncos have had hard easy matchups so far, but that's one of my... They're favourites. I think they're -1. The spread is -1 in favour of Broncos.
They are, and that's the funniest thing.
It's weird. So, anyway, let's go J.D. McKissick, okay? I mean, I know we just talked about him, but is this someone... Let's say you're in a 10-man league. Is this someone that you want to own? I don't know whether he's owned in our 10-man league.
I want to own him. The problem is... Unless the Washington football team starts winning games, I don't want to touch him because they're going to be constantly in negative game scripts.
Are they going to beat the Falcons this week?
I hope so. Sorry, Jack.
I think the Falcons are going to win this week. The Falcons are home. Matt Ryan, I mean, they're coming off a great win against that outstanding New York Giants.
Oh my God.
Super Bowl contending New York Giants.
One of the best teams.
I don't want to rub it in. All right, what about Peyton Barber? With the likelihood that Josh Jacobs might sit again this week.
If Jacobs sits, yes.
I'm grabbing Barber too.
Would you play him over Drake?
No.
Okay. I think I'd probably play Barber just because of what Barber did this week. He took all the touches away from Drake. I don't understand it, but anyway. Okay, let's go to the tight end position here. Dalton Schultz.
Yes.
You guys believe in that week that he had on Monday night?
Oh, grab him.
100%. Every target on the Dallas Cowboys is a good option.
Did you see that play that he made for his touchdown? He went through 4 defenders. He made one move.
The Eagles forgot how to tackle that.
That was amazing.
Yeah, no, it's good. My only slight would be Blake Jarwin is still there. Blake Jarwin still gets targets. That's my own. That would be my only issue. But anyway, let's go to the quarterback position here. We brought him up already. Derek Carr.
Yes.
Is this a guy you would start ahead of? All right, let me give you guys some names. Who would you rather start, Derek Carr or Ryan Tannehill?
Derek Carr.
I'm starting Carr.
Jalen Hurts or Derek Carr?
Carr.
Derek Carr.
Really?
Look, he's the passing leader right now in the NFL.
I know, but
Carr is on a winning team. Jalen Hurts is not on a winning team.
But he doesn't rush.
First off, he doesn't need to. The thing, I understand Hurts might have a higher ceiling, but Derek Carr's got a much higher floor.
Okay, Justin Herbert.
No, I'd probably still go with Herbert.
Okay, all right, that's our cutoff. Okay, lastly on this list is Justin Fields. I know he had a stinker.
If he starts...
I hate that Matt Nagy...
They played the Lions this week, right?
I hate, though, that Matt Nagy was like, I don't know, I'm not saying who our starter is. What?
His seat could not be harder right now.
Like, what? Like,
I
understand.
I think Nagy's going either this week or next week.
Gone.
Yeah,
Nagy has to be gone because at the end of the day, like, you have an absolute elite rookie QB there. They didn't like. The fact of the matter was, Myles Garrett just had a field day this weekend.
Sacked 9 times.
I would honestly like to start Fields this week just to see if he can do it. You know?
Yeah.
It's a risk, but I wouldn't rule it out as the worst possible option.
Yeah. All right, that's going to finish that segment. We're going to cut to break here, guys, but when we get back, we're going to talk about some drop targets here. We're going to talk about whether we can actually drop this player or whether we want to keep hold of them for the rest of the season. And then we're going to do a quick fire round of buy or sell. We'll be right back. Hi guys, we're back here. We're going to go through some drop targets and we're going to discuss whether we think this is a guy who you drafted probably in the mid rounds, maybe a bit later on, whether this guy is someone you should give up on and just drop. So without further ado, I'm going to go straight over to Gil here for his first drop. Who's your first drop, Gil?
I'm going to be so honest. The first person that should be dropped is Carlos Carr.
I mean, it's already been dropped.
Poor fella.
It's already been dropped.
Poor fella.
Can't perform when we need it.
Yep.
Right.
Classic.
Kind of like the New York Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right. Carlos can't back me up, but he probably wouldn't anyway if he was here.
No, he'd be fuming. He'll hear this and be like, what the heck did Gil just say? Anyways. For somebody I drop, it's Juju Smith-Schuster from the Steelers. He's got a very low boomer bust type thing. Like, he's got a low ceiling and a low floor.
Yeah.
His best game was 16.5 points against the Raiders. Other than that, like, he hasn't really performed anything else. He's being overshadowed by Deontay Johnson, who was out for a game, and Chase Claypool. Ben Roethlisberger doesn't seem to be throwing him as often as everybody anticipated, even as soon as Antonio Brown left the Steelers.
Well, Ben just looks awful.
Well, Ben is a bum.
Like, he looked... Did you guys see the play where he fell over?
Elite ball placement. Elite ball placement.
It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. He went out the back of the pocket. There was no one near him, and he hit the deck. Like, it was one of those things where it's like, what just happened? It was hilarious. Yeah. And what I'll say with that, Deontay Johnson's also back this week. It looks like back. He's back to a full participant in practice. So
right.
So I think that's going to be a huge
I don't think it's
factor.
a good look moving forward for Juju Smith-Schuster. And the crazy part is that he took a minimum to come back to Pittsburgh, where he probably would have got more money elsewhere for even a better team.
Yeah.
I don't have much optimism about this guy.
I'm going to say I'm going to disagree in the fact that I wouldn't personally drop him yet. I would chuck him in a trade because of name value. You know, I might add him as a piece to a 2-for-1. You know, if I'm going for someone and I just add him on. I think he could be because dropping him, I feel like someone's just going to snap him up and like he might have. Would I want to play him? No. But like I don't know. It's one of those.
He'll look good on a bench.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, let's head over to Nick here. Nick, who's your first drop target?
I'm actually dropping Laviska Shenault for the Jaguars.
What a great name!
I love the name. It sounds like he knows.
How could you say this one right and totally butcher Nyheim Hines?
I know, right?
Yeah, honestly. What about Tim Patrick? You know, it's not quite the same.
It's not around the same
ring. It
doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Tim Patrick's playing at my local chess club. You know.
With Shenault though, he's just not seeing the amount of targets that we thought he would. Marvin Jones has been the main guy over there with Trevor Lawrence there. So I think Laviska Shenault is a good reason right now definitely to drop him. I know he's facing the Bengals tonight, and he might have a good game, but I don't see him producing anywhere near what he's supposed to be doing, especially after last year having a decent year, putting up flex numbers, and now he's barely getting in the double digits. So I would definitely recommend dropping Shenault. Yeah,
absolutely. I think he's one of them. Him and Chark, the only guy I can really trust on that team is Marvin Jones, and he was drafted, I think, the latest out of them all. You know, so he's looked outstanding. So for me, guys, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I've dropped Robbie Anderson in a bunch of leagues. It's difficult because I drafted him in the 6th round, thinking he was going to do exactly what he did last year. But you can't rely on the numbers that people put up last year in order to hold on to a player.
No.
Week 1, he saved your week by having a 1 catch for 57 yards and a touchdown. That saved your week. That was a 12-point week.
But that's what worries me about a lot of wide receivers that have high yardage, low reception.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The next week, he has 6 targets. Great. 3 catches for 30 yards. He puts up 6 points. That's not great. The week later, against Houston, 1 catch, 8 yards. That's not going to cut it for
He
me.
didn't have that catch till the fourth quarter, too. I watched the whole entire game. He's my wide receiver 1, actually, in a league because I'm in trouble. I have Mahomes, Cook, and Kelsey, and I had to grab Anderson in the 4th, 5th round.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
thing. I've dropped him. Now, I personally will drop him. Now, yes, there is the argument that they're playing Dallas this week. I think you can play him this week. If he doesn't perform, though, he's gone. Like he should be gone
correct.
because CMC is out. And when CMC was out last year, that's when he started just catching balls. And I think other than that, like if he doesn't perform this week, I think that has a huge implied total. The Carolina and Dallas game. I think if he doesn't perform in that game, he's droppable.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Right. Let's head over to Gil here. Gil, give us your second drop target.
I was going to say the entire backfield for this, but I'll just keep it specific. Trey Sermon on the Niners. I can't really get started with how volatile every running back is after Mostert got hurt. You never know who's going to be the lead guy week by week. You never want to take the risk. I never want to take the risk starting one of them. And then you take Sermon, who has been absolutely underperforming week by week. He was a healthy scratch week 1.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
I feel like it just set the tone for the next couple of weeks.
Let's call Shanahan.
Honestly, it bothers the life out of me.
He's a great coach, though.
Great coach.
Did you see that he called the flag on George Kittle in that play on Sunday night?
No, I didn't know.
What happened?
He called it. He said that, George Kittle's going to get held by the defender, and he did the play right as soon as it happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Week 2, he didn't even hit a point. Week 3, he hit double digits, but like by a very small margin.
That's because Elijah Mitchell was out.
Exactly. But like that's the thing. How often are other running backs going to be written off just so Trey Sermon can actually sign? Everyone projected this guy to be the guy.
He was drafted in like the 6th round of drafts. Like that was a guy that you can hopefully plug in your lineup. And at the end of the day, you thought he might be playing behind Raheem Mostert. Even with Raheem Mostert going out, he's not
still
playing.
done nothing.
Yeah, Jeff Wilson's not there right now, still not doing anything. Jermichael Hasty's not there right now, still not doing anything. Elijah Mitchell was drafted in the real NFL draft. Three rounds later, Trey Sermon was 3rd round. Elijah Mitchell was 6th. Mm-hmm. Elijah Mitchell has obviously outperformed him in camp and is now
what a revelation for the season for the Niners is that they're actually throwing the ball more.
Yeah, that's
Deebo
true.
Samuel is 2nd in receiving yards behind Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, he didn't have the best week this week. I think that was inflated from that 170-yard performance.
He had 2 really strong weeks.
Yeah,
and then kind of slowed down.
It did. And I think Kittle's going to get more involved. I know he was a limited this week, but I think he's going to get more involved. So I absolutely like that pick. Let's head over to Nick here for his second drop target.
Look, I got an easy drop for Michael Carter from the New York Jets. We probably grabbed him very late, thinking, all right, he can definitely compete with Tevin Coleman, and you thought he could be a good stash and maybe work his way to the starting role. But Zach Wilson isn't performing. That O-line is just entirely, the whole team isn't performing. So I don't like any part of this Jets offense.
Yeah.
Keep me away from Michael Carter. Drop him when you can.
Yeah, I think what's difficult about this is that you look for an RB1 in an offense, or you look for a wide receiver 1. It was the same thing. You looked at Corey Davis. He has an outstanding preseason. Zach Wilson and him looked like they were on fire together, and all of a sudden, Corey Davis, the first week was good, but he had 2 catches, 2 of them were touchdowns. Michael Carter is one of those guys that I think he could be a stash. He could be leave him there and just don't even debate playing him, leave him there and hope that he takes over this role. But that role might just be not worth anything.
It might not be worth that.
Anything on the Jets offense that's not Zach Wilson, that's still dodgy.
Yeah.
Or
you're
Michael
not playing
Carter.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah, no, you're not starting Zach Wilson. Or Michael Carter.
Yeah.
Corey Davis. Don't touch it.
Yeah, no, that's very fair. Okay, I'm going to get on to a guy who was drafted roughly the 7th or 8th round, and that's Ronald Jones of Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the main reason I'm dropping him is because I actually think Leonard Fournette has taken over this backfield. Leonard Fournette is the guy that I think Brady can trust. There's also Giovanni Bernard there, who last week had 9 receptions. He was outstanding last week. 9 receptions, 90-odd yards. I think Brady trusts him, and that's a big plus. If Brady trusts you, he's going to get you the ball. Ronald Jones only had 15 rushes on the season. He's not looked good with them. Yeah, he has that explosive upside, which we saw last season in a couple of games, but Leonard Fournette joined late last year. I think Ronald Jones has been schemed out. Now they've given Fournette the time to cement his place as the RB1 in that backfield. And I think, Leonard Fournette could be a trade target. He could be someone to look to go and get,
And then look what Fournette did in the playoffs last year, just going off.
They kind of just rode off of that momentum, and then on top of that, the Bucs are a passing attack.
Yeah, you got to trust him.
Mm-hmm.
You got to trust
Tom
him.
Brady's throwing. He's not even getting hurt. Tom Brady just looks good as new.
This isn't part of the segment. Over under 3.5 touchdowns he throws this week against his old team in Foxborough. Tom Brady.
He's lighting it up this week.
He's spanking the Pats.
You taking over?
I'm taking over.
Okay, you think he's throwing 4, 5?
He's throwing 5.
He's going to go 5.
I'd love to see it.
Two are going to Gronk.
Oh, one of them is definitely. Okay, I'm gonna go.
And the Pope's Catholic.
Just to be different. One's going to Gronk. One's going to Antonio Brown if he's active.
You also forget.
All right,
Antonio
where
Brown
are the
was there for
three
one
going
game.
then? Everywhere else.
Everywhere else. Mike Evans maybe once.
Yeah.
Another one to Gronk.
We'll see.
Godwin.
They'll be up by 30 points in the fourth quarter. They're not taking out Brady. He's staying right in.
No, father is spanking his children this weekend.
Oh yes. Okay. All right. So we're going to head into our final segment here. This is I'm not going to take credit here. This was Carlos's work, but I'm going to give you guys 5 different buy or sell. We're going to have a little discussion about it. So let's go straight into it. Okay. Buy or sell. Julio Jones is the unquestioned wide receiver 1 in Tennessee.
Right now, probably buy. AJ Brown's hurt. He hasn't been producing.
All right, let's say when AJ Brown's healthy.
It's hard to say that because I feel like going into the season they were kind of 1A, 1B. I kind of got to give Julio the slight edge, but it might be a smidge of an overreaction.
I don't believe it. I think if A.J. Brown's healthy, I think A.J. Brown's the man. He's been there longer, and he has more of a connection with Tannehill. And as long as Julio could stay healthy, it could happen, but...
I feel like Julio Jones is such a game changer. He's been pound for pound the best receiver in the NFL for quite some time. He isn't now, obviously, but...
Yeah. He still looks good, though.
He might be one of the... he probably is currently the most physically imposing next to DK Metcalf in terms of just...
He's awesome like that, yeah absolutely. And...
You miss him, don't you, you Falcons fan?
I do miss him. I do. I love Julio. I think, is he the unquestioned wide receiver 1? No. I'm going to sell this because I think no. I don't think he's the I think it's questionable whether he is. I think AJ Brown is an outstanding talent. I think he's top 5 talent in the league at the position. He just has a drop. He has a case of the dropsies. Even when he was playing and healthy, he was dropping the ball. Like I talked about it in week 2, he dropped the ball 4 times. That's not good enough. And now he's injured. I have him in one of my leagues, and I was speaking to Nick about this off air. I'm debating just chucking him in a trade and just getting rid, because that's the league I'm 0-3 in, and I need guys who are going to produce for me now, and he might be one of the guys who takes the fall. Let's go into number 2 here. Joe Burrow will be a better pro than Trevor Lawrence.
Oh.
This is something that we're going to have to talk about in like 10 years' time to see if
this is going to be it. This is a lot more difficult.
Just what we were seeing from Joe Burrow last year, going into this year, and now with Jamar Chase at his side, he's thrown 4 touchdowns, 4 or 5 touchdowns.
4.
4.
You can't 4 and 11 receptions.
How many games did Joe Burrow play before getting hurt last year? Like 8?
Like close halfway. It might have been more. It might have been like 10 or 11. Might have been
roughly then.
Yeah.
I have to say buy strictly on what I've seen. Because I don't know how good Trevor Lawrence will be a year from now.
You want to know a crazy stat that I read earlier? I think it was PFF that tweeted it. Trevor Lawrence, in his high school and college career, was 86-4. If he loses tonight against the Cincinnati Bengals, he'll be 0-4. He'll have as many losses in his 4 games in the NFL, which I think is going to happen, by the way. The Bengals look good. He'll have as many losses as he did in his entire high school and college career. He's not used to losing. I'm really curious to see the way that Trevor Lawrence comes back from this, because he has not looked good. He has looked like a real raw rookie.
He's a rookie, though. That's like the thing. Like I don't know how to give rookies the...
Yes, but people thought he was ready.
And it's been all interceptions for him.
There was no player coming out of that draft that was going to be immediately ready.
And it's not like you don't have weapons on that side of the ball, too. You still have James Robinson, who showed like he can be your running back, and you have people like Marvin Jones, Chenault, DJ Chalk. You have weapons on the side, but he can't do it.
I would put that more on Urban Meyer than Trevor Lawrence, because Lawrence has skill. He is a skilled quarterback. We're not denying this at all. He's obviously won it all in college football at Clemson. Mm-hmm. I think he deserves the benefit of the doubt, but at the moment, I kind of want to buy on Joe Burrow.
I like it. All right, let's go to number 3 here. Buy or sell. It's no longer worth drafting running backs in the first round.
Oh, my God.
Sell.
I got to sell this.
Yeah, sell.
Carlos, I don't know where
Carlos, you're crazy for that.
This must have been when Carlos got in the car accident or something, or when his car died. I think I get what he's getting at because of the injuries we've seen, right? CMC's down. Dalvin Cook was down. Zeke was drafted in the first round. Tony Pollard's taken touches away from him. So I can see what he's getting at. But at the same time, the wide receiver position is so much more volatile. Like if you have a guy who's absolutely locked in to that position, someone who's locked in as an RB1. I think they're someone that is going to like produce you week in, week out. Whereas a wide receiver is always bound to have an off day, and that's you're hopefully not going to get that from an RB1.
I'm worried for the sake of the running back department. However, I just don't think it's hard to. I don't think he would ignore it. The point of the first round, and I've said this plenty of times before, you draft your first rounder as the safest bet possible.
Yeah.
Every safe bet has been the running back.
You don't take risks in the first round.
No, not at all.
So, yeah, I think we're all selling this, Carlos. I appreciate the thought, but I think this is an easy one for us. Okay, San Francisco is the best landing spot for Marlon Mack.
Bye.
Wait a minute.
But he's going to get injured, though,
No,
because every running back in that place gets
I like him on
injured.
the Ravens more than I do like him in San Fran.
The Ravens are not going to trade for him. They signed enough.
I think they were guys that are just there just to fill up spots. But if you can grab someone like a Marlon Mack who's coming off the injury and now he's ready to play, I think Baltimore would benefit from him.
I would say San Francisco needs him more.
I do, but then don't you think they have too many running backs there? They drafted 2 this year in the 3rd and the 6th round, and they also have Mostert.
Mostert's hurt.
I know they're hurt, but what I'm saying is, I guess it would be a 1-year deal, wouldn't it? It would be it'd be a rent-a-player.
This is something you'd have to check out. Like, you have to get him now. The Niners are a win-now team. The only reason I wouldn't trade for him is if you're guaranteed going to give Trey Lance the starting job. But we don't know how soon that's going to be.
I am still saying that week 6 bye, I feel like he comes out of that as the starter. And
it's a valid take.
Yeah. But then again, like San Francisco, like they've looked okay under Jimmy G. Like they've looked good, so it's difficult.
Almost beat the Packers on
they
Sunday
have to.
night.
Well, to be fair, he did commit a costly turnover.
He did fumble. So, okay, right, we're going to go with the last one here. Josh Gordon will finish the season with the Kansas City Chiefs. You guys thought I was going to say, like, as the Kansas City's wide receiver 1 or something.
Oh, no, you're crazy. No.
He will finish with them.
He's off the team in 3 weeks.
That's bold. That's bold.
I'm going to stick to buying, honestly. You don't sign Josh Gordon if you're not going to keep him.
But it depends on what he can do. What he, because we've known this story before.
The problem with Kansas City is, aside from their own defensive liabilities, is on the offense they don't really have anybody to really lean on outside of Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
It all just depends on Gordon.
Edwards-Helaire's a bust.
I think it's difficult as well. Tyreek's been schemed out 2 games in a row,
right,
which is a little worrying. This is kind of why, like, on the take that Carlos was giving earlier, this is why you don't draft Tyreek Hill at number 2, 3, or to take him early.
Crazy, you draft him in 9.
But what I'm saying is, with Carlos's take earlier, he was saying you don't draft a running back in the first round, insinuating you take Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins this year. This is why, because Tyreek Hill put up 9 points this week. That would absolutely kill you if you drafted him first, and some people did. And I know when you go and look in your leagues, people who drafted Tyreek Hill at 1, they're probably losing their matchup this week. It's difficult. I think Gordon, I'm going to buy that he's going to stay there for the rest of the season. However, we've seen what's happened before. Wasn't it New England who signed him, and he was gone within a couple of weeks, and then he went
and Seattle
too.
Seattle gone within a couple of weeks. So let's just, honestly, from a human perspective, I hope that the guy.
Oh no, I hope he does it
clean and is doing well. So that's, I think, the main point here. Okay, that'll do us, guys. It was a great episode with the 3 horsemen or the 3 musketeers this week.
Carlos, my man, get your car fixed.
Yeah, we want Carlos back next week. Yeah, honestly, we if you guys are listening at all, we would appreciate any feedback you guys are giving us. We're very new to this. It's very raw for us. So any comments on the videos or anything like that would go a long way. If you want us to do a certain segment or whatever, we're absolutely happy to do it. And yeah, Gil, do you have something to say?
On top of that, follow us on Instagram. Our handle is @4 Horsemen of Fantasy. Once again, 4 Horsemen of Fantasy. Please give us a follow. We love the feedback.
And subscribe to our YouTube channel. Right?
And subscribe to our YouTube. Yeah. That's where it's all at for now.
Look for the 4 Horsemen of Fantasy on YouTube. We'll be posting more and more on there as the season goes on. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great week 4. I'm looking forward to watching some football tonight.
Finally.
It's been too long, 3 days.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking forward to watching some football tonight, and we will be back next week with another episode. Thanks, guys.
Throw up them fours.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.